Hello everyone. We are going to start a podcasting episode named PodX. For today, we have a special guest named Faizan Ashraf, who has been a part of a Microsoft Student Ambassador, currently at Beta position, mentor at Spark Foundation, data science ML trainer, and he is also a student developer at ENR. Hello Faizan. Tell me about something yourself.
Hello, Dasham. Thanks for such great introduction. So I think you have told most of the things about me. And currently, I'm a second year engineering student, and I'm currently in GIET University, Kanpur. And right now I'm working in the domain of machine learning and data science. And along with that, I'm also working in for a few of my research papers. And also, I've been working a bit in the field of development too.
So, why did you choose that to be the part of that Microsoft Student Ambassador? Is that your aim or
Uh, the most important thing in any of your life, whether it would be engineering or anything, it's community. Okay, because the best job you can see is leadership. We say that the best job is leadership. If you have a good leadership quality, then it's for sure that you will do something great in your life. And it's not about money; it's about your own inside happiness. It's not. I'm talking. Although that matters a lot, so the best thing of MLSA is that is Microsoft Student Ambassadorship, that it provide you with a very great community all around the globe. In that you will get members who have knowledge of technical fields. In that you will also get members who have great knowledge in non-technical field too. You can get people who have knowledge of virtual reality. Then on the other side you will also get more people who will have great knowledge in agriculture field and all. So you can explore yourself in different fields, because once you will explore yourself, then only you will come to know that okay, this is the thing which I can do in the best way. So that's the best thing about MLSA.
okay? So tell me something, tell our viewers something about that. What does Microsoft Student Ambassador program is? Because many of them didn't know what that Microsoft conducts such program like this.
Yeah, so actually, first of all, many people think that it's an internship. So it's not an internship. Basically, Microsoft being such a big tech community with such a great members all around the globe, so it provides us a community for the learn. It's basically for those who wants to learn. It's nothing that you need to be a great coder, great programmer for that. If you have enthusiasm to code and to learn and then to teach, then MLSA would be the best thing for you. So basically, in this, what happens? That first you will fill up the form. When you get selected, then you will get mentorship from Microsoft. You will get different things like LinkedIn Learning. You will get Azure cloud subscription. You will get your own domain name. Like so I've got fazanashraf.com so for lifetime. So that's great thing.
It's nice.
And yeah, so there are many great things. You will also get swags, and who don't like swags? That's the best thing.
Yeah.
So you will also get swags, and but the most important thing is the community and the mentorship which you will get. So that's very great thing. And then after you will get training from Microsoft, then you need what Microsoft asks you, that now it's your time to teach your community. That means you need to conduct event. It's not something like marketing that you need to market Microsoft. It's like you need to what you have learned from those mentors. Now it's time for you to teach other students, even though they are not part of MLSA. Then also you have to train them, and that's how you will get promoted to different levels of it.
So how did you started your preparation? Right from the first year or?
Yeah, so
Did you
basically, I don't think that it's required a very high level of preparation. Yeah, you just need to have one or two good projects in any field. It could be data science, machine learning, web development, any field, and then you just need to write a documentation in that. Basically, the selection criteria for the form selection criteria, it the people out there, I think they see that you should have good communication skills, and then you should have one good project at least. It's not that it should be a very giant project, or requiring a lot and lot of technical expertise. You just need to have a good project, a resume, and just update everything what you do. Suppose you even code something, then you just put that on your LinkedIn. Make your social networking network like LinkedIn and Facebook. Also use it for technical purposes, and then just update your community that okay, I'm doing this stuff, and then most probably you will get selected. It does not require a very high level of preparation because, as I told, it's for learning. It's not that you have to work for Microsoft.
So, what was your project?
Basically, I have two projects till that point. So I submitted my project of face mask. Actually, I have interest in AI field, so that I have used a deep learning project, and in that it will detect whether we are wearing mask or not. And just a bit innovation I added in it that if you are wearing mask, then it will tell access granted, and if not, then access denied. It's a simple thing. It's not a very great thing.
Yeah.
So I've used deep learning for that, and I made a small documentation for that because it's very good. Because once you will work for any company, you need to have documentation of your projects. If you work for a good organizations, so everyone should make a habit of making documenting their work, what they do. So I made a documentation on that, and then I published it. It's not. I should not say it a research paper. You just need to write it on any online blog site. I wrote it on Medium. You may know that medium.com, and then I shared those projects.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that face detection system that my brother also did the same project.
Okay.
He's currently in third year.
Okay.
So, yeah, I am already aware of this project.
Yeah. So I made that for because it was bit related to real world. So
Yeah.
you will get favor if you make projects which is related to real world scenario because at that point COVID was just new in the market. Now to we all are used to it, but mask wearing was very important. Now also it's very important. So I made that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when did you apply for the program? Like from first year, or that was your first attempt, or you made
No,
several
it
attempts
was
to
my
apply?
first attempt only. Basically, you can apply to MLSA or anytime in the year. Once you apply to it, it's take around 3 months, 3 to 4 months for your form to go into review process, and then you will get a mail from Microsoft that okay you are selected, or maybe if not selected. And so I think that I have filled the form around last year November, and I got the mail from Microsoft on March. I think I've got in March that okay you are selected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have any kind of inclination towards that competitive program?
Yeah. I think that
Any?
it's the most important thing. Although I'm learning in that field more and more. Now I don't think that I'm a very expert level in that, but I'm learning. So competitive programming, but it's not so that what I know, or what I have seen few of my seniors from with whom I'm connected, those who are in good tech giants like Amazon, Microsoft. So it's not that CP is very necessary. Yeah, data structure and algorithm it is very necessary. But CP, what CP does, it's just made you more accurate in the field. You get a practice to do a question within a short period of time. That's what CP help you. But if you do CP, that definitely gonna be very beneficial for you. But I think that data structure and algorithm is more important than CP. So first priority should be given to data structure and algorithm, then CP.
So do you have any kind of interest to work for open source or
Uh,
any organization?
yeah, actually, I have not worked a lot on open source till now, but I have made few comment on this Hacktoberfest. I participated in that. Maybe last year a very large population of students participated in that. So I think that Hacktoberfest I have done, and then a bit of open source during just I was learning how to use GitHub. During that time, I have done a bit of GitHub. But open source, basically, open source requires you to be at least having average or above average knowledge in any field, because then only you can, although it's
then
not
only you will be
yeah.
able to contribute something
Yeah,
to the
yeah, okay,
system.
yeah. Because it's not that you just learn anything and you are solving very hardcore bug. You always start from beginning, but to at least to understand the code base, you need a bit good knowledge. It's not very good, but you need to know.
So, did you got any chance to visit that Microsoft Office?
No, actually, my luck is not that good. Although I could have got that if this COVID was not there, but what to say? Bad luck. I think that I came to know that those students, those who were selected, they have been called to Microsoft Office, but this time due to COVID, it's not happening. Yeah, I think that Microsoft Student Ambassador Summit take place, but most probably this time it would be online only, not offline. But no issue because gold.
Right now you have beta position, but
Yeah,
you will
there is a
surely go
chance.
for gold.
Yeah, for sure I will go. I will work on that, and I hope that next this year, if you get selected, and most probably next year you may go to Microsoft Office. I hope that you get selected.
Let's hope
Yeah.
for that. So, do you ever thought of one- like submitting your proposal for GSOC or something like that?
Yeah, those are very great things, and I definitely have thought this year also I have applied, but since as I told that I was not very much expert in um, open source, so my proposal was not accepted. But this year, since I have now pretty good knowledge of Python, machine learning, Django, and all, so next year definitely I will go for it. And actually, what I think that open source is not only GSOC. If you know something, then you need to start contributing to an organization, because you may get much better thing than what GSOC. GSOC is also a very great thing, but sometimes if you work for an organization for a long time and you are under the eye of the organization, then you may get a full-time job offer or at least the internship. Yeah.
So, what were your sort of interest when you were in first year? Like from which coding language did you started?
Yeah, so before first year, I have zero knowledge of coding. I was not at all into coding in my 11 12. I was just knowing a bit of HTML that everybody knows, and rest all I was knowing nothing about coding. And when I came to college, I started with C programming. Then after C programming in the second year, I came to know that we need only college study is not at all will give you a good job in your life. That's not only you need to have a good CGPA, just that your resume gets shortlisted for the other round. Because if it would be less than a bit certain, every company have their different level of CGPA, what the requirement of CGPA. But you need to have extra knowledge. So after first semester, when I was a bit good in C programming, then I started working on this data structure and algorithm. Then I invested myself in web development. I learned a bit of web development. Then at that point of time, I didn't like web development much. I was feeling it a bit boring because there was nothing, no one to tell that okay, this is the mistake which you have done. Now we know that okay, there are different things by which we can know that where is the bug. We have inspect option in browser. We know that at that point of time I was not knowing that. Then I invested on myself on Python. Then I learned a bit of data science. Then I found myself good in data science, so I started working on that. Now again, I am also putting my hands in web development, because now I think I am good in data science. Not great, but good. So that's what is important. You need to what I did that I explored myself, and that's what everybody should do. Because once you explore everything, because I even explore myself in Android development, that also I liked a bit, but not very much. So once you explore each and every field, I think first year should be of to explore yourself only. You will get a brief idea that okay, what needs to be done in this, what needs to be done in this, and then you can start working. Not first year, I think first semester I should say, because 1 year is a quite big time. From second semester, you should know that okay, I want to do this, and you need to give more time in that field, and that's what will make you uh, good in any of the field you wish to.
So, from your opinion, what will be the best roadmap for a first year student to start
Um,
his
oh,
journey? Like,
what I
other than
think.
college studies, what he is required to do for developing his skills?
Okay, so what I think that the best roadmap for first year is to first they need to learn any programming language, and I think the best programming language for a beginner is C only. Many will say Python, but Python is not the best to learn in the initial stage because it will make you lazy. Once you will see Python that okay, it's like English, then you will say that I don't now I am not at all interested in C++, C, Java.
Yeah,
Java, so you will not even see after learning
Java.
Python. You will not even see Java. That what is this? So
Java
I
is
don't.
considered as a lengthy language.
Yeah, it's a bit lengthy language, but it's one of the most demanded language.
Yeah.
At least in India, it's the most. If you know Java, then definitely you will get good job. So I would not prefer Python at all for the for your first language. If you in second year, if you get interested in data science, machine learning, or suppose web development with Python, then definitely you can go for it. Python is great, but first should be C because that will make your syntax knowledge and how a programming language works. That will enhance that skills in you. So C first of all, you should make C language programming proper in your first semester. Then in second semester, it's better that you should go for DSA because mostly in colleges, if college is open, you don't have that enough time to learn a skill. You can brush up, or you can just go through what is this? Okay, what is web development? What is machine learning? What is data science? What is Android development? But I think for second semester, it's best that you enhance yourself at least in data structure, not in algorithm, but in data structure. You should have good knowledge. Then in your summer break, in first summer break, I think it's the best time for you to explore yourself in development field in any of the development field you desire to.
So,
So
what are the pros and cons for that Microsoft Student Ambassador program? Like,
I don't think that there is any cons for it. It's definitely a win-win situation for you because even if you perform well, then there are few ambassadors who are at gold level, those who have got direct internship offer from Microsoft. So that's a great thing. So and then secondly, you will get a great community. You will get a chance to enhance your speaking skill because it's not that someone will say that I don't have a speaking skill, so I will not go for MLSA. MLSA is been made so that you can be more good or better in your speaking skills. Yeah, so as I told that कोई इस पे कॉन्स तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. There is no cons in MLS. There is only pros and pros. Because if you perform well, then even you can get a internship opportunity at Microsoft. Because I don't know the name, but two students I know that those who in the last year on 2020 batch, those who were given gold position, they got internship opportunity from Microsoft. Secondly, the best thing is community. Once, even if you are getting more than 4,000 people all around the globe, and few of them are having the work experience of more than 10 to 15 years. So there are many great people in the community. Once you will get selected, then you will be added to that community, MLSA community, and you will have different event. There are more than 30 channels or different technical fields, AI, ML, AR, VR. There are many fields. You will attend the event out there. You will be having MLS summit. I think every month it's happening. So it's a win-win situation for you. You will get a very great community, and any doubt you have, you just need to ping that in the uh, conversation section, and then I should say you will be bombarded with replies. There are many great and experienced people out there, so they will definitely help you. So community is the best thing of this. Also, you will get LinkedIn Learning free of cost, and that's also a great platform to learn. You will get that free of cost. Then Azure subscription you will get, Microsoft Azure cloud subscription you will get, as I told. Then Microsoft Learning, it's something like a vlog type of learning. It's not mostly, it's not video, it's handwritten documentation, but that's also very great. I've done a couple of those, so that's also very great. You can also go for it. You will get patches from Microsoft for it, and batches is not that important, but the thing that you will learn, that's very great. And you do not need to pay even a single penny for the Azure cloud subscription. I think it's for until when it's at least for 1 year, it is, but it sometimes get also exceeded if you are still active, very much active in the community. So it's very great thing.
So further moving
Yeah.
on to like how did you started your competitive programming? Like you said you were not
Okay,
aware of
so
any competitive background in
yeah,
11th and
yeah,
12th. So how did you prepare
yeah,
for
yeah,
it?
I was not knowing anything. So actually, in the first semester, first few months was very hard time for me, because not very hard, most of but when I just saw C programming language, then it was good till for loop, if else, but when pointers started, then it was a bit hectic for me, because I was new to programming and I was not at all able to grab the things which were told by the teacher out there. But with time, I worked hard. I saw different lectures on YouTube. It's not that it's necessary that you need to buy a 7 or 10,000 course for that. Everything is available in YouTube. You will get great courses out there. You can check them out and you can learn from them free of cost. And it's very great, very great. YouTube is a great platform for learning. You can learn anything from YouTube. So then talking about competitive programming. So first I started with HackerRank, and there I solved a couple of data structure questions from C programming. Then I jumped to problem solving, because that's a bit more tricky than what you solve in a programming language section. And after that, I have switched to CodeChef, and now I'm 3 star out there in CodeChef. So yeah, then I think till third year, not third, till second year, you should, if you are interested in CP, then CodeChef and Codeforces are great. But if there are few students, I personally know those who are not that much want into competitive programming, because the level of question which only include data structure and the level of question in CP, there is a difference after a certain level, and that is not very much required for you to go into any company like Google and all, because so to go, if your aim is to only go for interview and then development, but if you're not doing CP, at least you should be good in development. What I think. So if you want only to get a good job, then I think then lead code and interview bit are the best option. You can go out there and you can check out the stuff they have, and you can solve the question from there.
Okay, so you said that you prepared with majorly from YouTube, right? So what do you think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the
yeah.
courses
I
offered by
didn't.
Udemy or NPTEL? Like they are worth for doing it or
Uh,
it's
Yeah, definitely. Any learning, anything which makes you learn something, it's always worth it. So I'm not telling that those are not good, but you can go for YouTube also. It's not that you will not get. I think that you will get in paid courses. In YouTube, you can get everything. But if you want to go for paid courses, definitely you can go for those.
so.
Yeah.
So any advice which you want to give for the first year or fresher which is thinking to join that Microsoft Student Ambassador program?
Yeah, so what I will tell that first, at least decide your domain. It's not that you should decide that okay, I will work in this field only for my lifetime. Decide that okay, I will work primarily. I'll work on this field, and after that, make a couple of projects in that, and then when you will go for your form filler, then you there what happened that they ask you 2 3 questions. I think three, it was for me, it was three, and they tell you that you need to answer in this in video, or you can write a paragraph of around maybe 100 words and you can submit it. So actually, I've given all answer in video recording only, because what I think that virtually it's more connecting, and the people who must be reviewing, they don't have time to read all the words I've written. So I made 1 minute, because they told that you can at least you need to give one video, and rest you can answer through text, or if you wish you can go for video. So I have recorded all the answers of mine, basically the question are like how much enthusiast are you for learning, and what projects you have made till now, and how do you think MLSA will help you. So these are all the things which you will get.
So, what are the tough times for you which you faced during college?
I don't think that there was a very high tough time for me. Yeah, during the beginning days, as I was new to coding, so that was, I can say that I was a bit pressurized. That, okay, I've done any mistake by taking computer science, but it's not so. You just need to work gradually. It may happen that a person who is in front of you, he may learn something in 15 days, but definitely you will learn. If not in 15 days, then definitely in a month you can learn. And you have 4 years for engineering. And even I've seen many people on LinkedIn and YouTube, those who have given their interview on different podcasts, or they have their own channel, and they told that even after investing 5 to 6 months properly in your coding field, you can grab a good job. Basically, if you want to be in a good job for that, so it's nothing to take pressure. In first, you just need to be in good flow. You just need to have enthusiasm to learn, and you can do great.
So, I think that's all for today. So, I think that we
Yeah.
have a
So it
wonderful
was,
session.
yeah, it was great meeting you.
Anything which you want to say to my viewers or to audience?
Yeah, definitely. Subscribe to Drishan and like if and like it, and if you don't like the podcast, then double like it, and
Yeah,
comment out
comment
there.
out there.
And if you wish any suggestion for Drishan or even for me, then you can definitely give it. And also you can connect to me. Drishan will definitely put my LinkedIn profile ID out there. So if any one of you want to connect with me, you can definitely connect with me. And that's
Okay,
it.
thank you, Faizan. Thank you for joining me. We have a wonderful session. Thank you
Thank you.
for, on behalf of all the
Thank you,
viewers.
Drishan. Nice to meet you. Okay.